Have you ever watched your toddler line up their toy cars for the 20th time this week and wondered what on earth they're doing? Or maybe you've noticed them dumping out the same basket of blocks over and over again, and you're thinking, why won't they just play normally? What if I told you that your child isn't just playing, they're actually communicating with you in a language most parents never learn to speak? Today on Parenthood Unlocked, we're going to decode the secret language of toddler play. I'm going to show you 8 play patterns that seem random or repetitive, but are actually your child telling you exactly what they need, emotionally, developmentally, and cognitively. By the end of this video, you'll be able to look at your child's play and understand what they're working through, what skills they're building, and most importantly, how you can support their development just by paying attention to how they play. So grab your coffee and let's unlock this hidden language together. Welcome to Parenthood Unlocked, where we break down the real science and practical strategies behind raising confident, happy kids. I'm Sarah, and whether you're dealing with toddler challenges or preschool puzzles, this channel is your judgment-free zone for understanding what's really going on in your child's developing mind. Today's topic is absolutely fascinating: the secret language of toddler play. We're going to cover 8 specific play patterns that reveal what's happening in your child's brain and heart. And here's what makes this different from generic play advice. We're going to look at the why behind each pattern, so you'll know whether to join in, step back, or gently redirect. By the end of this video, you'll know how to decode what your child is communicating through their play, which repetitive behaviors are actually crucial for development, when to intervene and when to let them lead, and most importantly, how to turn everyday play into powerful learning moments. So let's dive in. Before we decode these 8 secret languages of toddler play, I want to take a moment to talk about why this matters so much. When my daughter was 2, she spent an entire month, I'm not exaggerating, an entire month, taking all the cushions off our couch and putting them back on, over and over, all day long. I thought she was bored. I kept trying to redirect her to real toys. I felt like I was failing as a parent because my child's favorite activity was furniture rearrangement. Then I learned about schemas. These are the repeated patterns of play that toddlers use to make sense of their world. And suddenly, everything clicked. She wasn't bored. She was exploring spatial relationships, cause and effect, and physical problem solving. Her play had a purpose I just couldn't see. Here's what research tells us. Between ages 1 and 3, children's brains are forming over 1 million neural connections per second, and play is the primary way they build those connections. But here's the key. Not all play is equally created. The play that seems repetitive, weird, or even annoying to us adults, that's often the most important developmental work happening. The reason this topic is so important is because when we understand what our children are communicating through play, we can support their development more effectively. We can stop interrupting crucial learning moments. We can stop worrying that something's wrong when they do the same thing 47 times in a row. And we can stop buying expensive toys when what they really need is cardboard boxes and our attention. And here's the thing that most people don't realize. Your toddler isn't being difficult when they insist on pouring water from one cup to another for 30 minutes. They're not being destructive when they knock down every block tower. They're speaking to you in the only language they have, play. And when you learn to speak that language back, everything changes. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but my child doesn't play like other kids. Should I be worried? That's completely valid, and we'll address different play styles as we go through each pattern. Every child is unique, and there's a wide range of normal. All right, let's get into the 8 secret languages of toddler play. The first secret language is what I call the repeater. This is when your child does the same action over and over and over, putting toys in and out of containers, opening and closing doors, stacking and knocking down blocks, and you're standing there thinking, didn't we just do this? Yes, you did, and you're about to do it 47 more times. When your toddler repeats the same action, what's actually happening is they're strengthening neural pathways in their brain. Think of it like creating a hiking trail. The first time through, it's rough and unclear, but every time you walk that path, it gets smoother and more established. That's what repetition does in your child's brain. They're literally building the infrastructure for future learning through repetition. Let me give you a concrete example. A mom in our community was frustrated because her 18-month-old spent 20 minutes every single day dropping toys off the high chair tray. Drop, retrieve, drop, retrieve, drop, retrieve. She thought her son was testing her patience, but what he was actually doing was exploring cause and effect, object permanence, and fine motor control, all at once. Every drop was teaching his brain, when I let go, it falls. Every single time. This is a rule of the universe I can count on. That sense of predictability is foundational for emotional security. Now, a lot of parents make the mistake of interrupting repetitive play because it seems boring or pointless. Don't you want to do something else? But instead, what you want to do is protect that playtime. Sit nearby if they want you there, but don't redirect unless they're frustrated or unsafe. The difference might seem small, but the impact is huge. You're honoring their developmental process instead of imposing your adult idea of productive play. So here's what you can try today. The next time your child starts repeating an action, set a timer for 10 minutes and just observe. Don't interrupt. Don't suggest alternatives. Just watch and notice how focused they are. That deep concentration, that's learning happening in real time. The second secret language is the dumper. This is the child who takes every basket, every container, every organized thing in your house and dumps it out. Toys, books, kitchen utensils, your carefully folded laundry. Everything ends up on the floor and you're ready to lose your mind. When your toddler dumps everything out, what's actually happening is they're conducting scientific experiments about cause and effect. Think of it like they're asking, what happens when I tip this? Do heavy things fall the same as light things? Can I predict where items will land? Can I control this outcome? They're little physicists testing theories about how the world works. This is especially common between 12 and 24 months, when they're figuring out that they can make things happen. They have agency in the world. A dad recently told me his daughter would dump out her entire toy box every morning before daycare. He'd clean it up, and the next morning, dumped again. He was exhausted, but when he started paying attention, he noticed she wasn't just dumping randomly. She was dumping slowly, watching each toy fall, then carefully selecting specific items to play with. The dumping wasn't the goal, it was the process of examining each option and making choices. She was building decision-making skills and visual scanning abilities. The mistake parents make is immediately cleaning up and saying, no dumping. But what you actually want to do is create designated dumping zones. Get a large bin, fill it with safe items, plastic cups, fabric scraps, wooden blocks, and say, you can dump this bin as much as you want. Give them an outlet for this developmental need instead of fighting against it. And here's the key. When you respect their need to dump, they're actually more willing to help clean up later. Try this today. Instead of saying, stop making a mess, say, I see you're exploring how things fall. Let's dump these blocks and watch them scatter. Then we'll pick them up together. You've just turned frustration into connection. The third secret language is the organizer. This is the child who lines up their cars in perfect rows, sorts blocks by color, or arranges their stuffed animals from biggest to smallest. Some parents worry this is a sign of rigidity or even early OCD, but usually it's beautiful, healthy development. When your toddler organizes and sorts, they're creating categories and patterns, which is the foundation of logical thinking and math skills. Their world is chaotic and overwhelming. Adults make all the decisions, things happen they don't understand, but when they line up their toys, they are in control. They are creating order. It's incredibly empowering for a small person with very little power. Plus, sorting by color, size, or type teaches classification skills that will later support reading, math, and scientific thinking. A mom shared that her 2.5-year-old insisted on arranging his dinosaurs in the same order every night before bed. T-Rex first, then Triceratops, then all the others in a specific sequence. If she moved one, he'd have a meltdown. She worried this was obsessive behavior. But when we talked, I asked, does he insist on this order anywhere else? Or just at bedtime? Just at bedtime. This wasn't obsessive. This was a self-soothing bedtime ritual. Creating predictable order helped him feel safe enough to separate from her and go to sleep. Brilliant, really.
Parents often try to teach their child to play correctly. Crash the cars, make the dinosaurs fight. But if your child wants to line things up, let them. Don't impose your idea of imaginative play. Instead, you can gently expand it. Oh, you've lined up the cars by color. I wonder if we could also line them up by size. You're honoring their play while offering a gentle extension. Today, give your child items that are perfect for sorting. Buttons, pom-poms, shells, anything with slight variations. Then step back and watch what categories they create. Don't correct them, just observe and narrate. You put all the red ones here and all the bumpy ones there. You're validating their thinking process.
The fourth secret language is the transporter. This is the child who moves objects from one place to another constantly. Toys go into bags, bags get carried around the house, contents get dumped, the process repeats. You're tripping over bags and buckets all day long. When your toddler transports objects obsessively, what's actually happening is they're exploring spatial relationships and problem solving. Think about the complex thinking involved. Will this block fit in this bag? How many can I carry at once? What's the most efficient way to move multiple items? They're also working on gross motor skills, balance, and planning ahead, all executive function skills. Plus, there's an element of ownership and control. I can move things. I can decide where objects belong. I have impact on my environment. I had a mom tell me her son carried his plastic shopping basket everywhere for 3 months. Everywhere, to the bathroom, to bed, to the car. The basket was full of random items that changed daily. A toy car, a sock, a measuring cup, whatever. She kept trying to empty it out, but that basket was his project. He was curating a collection, transporting it, keeping his special items close. When she finally accepted the basket as part of the family, she noticed he started organizing the items inside more carefully. He was building categorization and planning skills through what looked like random collecting. The mistake is trying to stop the transporting because it creates clutter. Instead, give them transportation tools that work for your space. Small bags, baskets, or even cardboard boxes. Say, I see you like moving your toys around. Here's your special transport basket. When you're done, let's find a home for it. You're teaching organization while respecting their developmental drive. Try this. Create a moving station with various sized bags, boxes, and containers. Let your child freely move toys between rooms. At cleanup time, turn it into a game. Can you transport all the blocks back to the block bin? How many trips will it take? You've just turned their schema into a cleanup strategy. The fifth secret language is the destroyer. This is the child who knocks down every block tower, rips paper, smashes Play-Doh, and crashes toy cars. It looks aggressive or destructive, and you're worried you're raising a tiny vandal. When your toddler destroys things, they're actually exploring physics, power, and transformation. What happens when I knock this down? Can I create change? Do I have impact? Destruction is the flip side of creation. You can't truly understand building until you understand how things come apart. It's also incredibly empowering. For a small person who is constantly told no, being able to cause immediate, visible change is thrilling. Plus, they're learning about force, gravity, structural integrity, and irreversibility. These are complex scientific concepts. A dad told me his daughter would ask him to build block towers just so she could knock them down. He'd spend 5 minutes building, she'd knock it down in 2 seconds, then demand he build again. He felt used. But here's what was really happening. She was experimenting with different forces. Sometimes she'd use one finger to carefully toggle it. Sometimes she'd crash into it with her whole body. She was testing variables. And she needed him to build because she couldn't yet create the towers herself, but she could participate in the cycle of creation and destruction. That's collaborative play with asymmetric skills. Parents often say, we don't destroy things, and try to stop this behavior completely. But destruction is a healthy phase. Instead, create safe destruction zones. We don't rip books, but you can rip this newspaper. We don't knock down other people's towers, but I'll build one for you to knock down. Give them appropriate outlets, and the destructive drive gets channeled productively.
Today, intentionally build something for your child to destroy. A block tower, a sandcastle, a pile of pillows. Say, I'm building this for you to destroy. Ready? Go! Watch their face light up. You've given them permission to express power in a safe, connected way.
The sixth secret language is the encloser. This is the child who builds forts, creates little houses with furniture, puts toys inside boxes, or even tries to climb into small spaces themselves. They're obsessed with creating boundaries and enclosures. When your toddler constantly creates enclosures, they're working through concepts of inside and outside, boundaries and personal space. This is deeply psychological. Think about it. Toddlers are just beginning to understand that they are separate people from their parents. Creating physical boundaries, a fort, a circle of toys, a box they sit in, helps them literally practice the concept of, this is my space. It's about autonomy and identity. They're also exploring safety. What does it feel like to be enclosed? How do I get in and out? Can I control who enters my space? These are important emotional and social concepts. A mom shared that her son would take every blanket in the house and create elaborate forts daily. She was frustrated by the mess, but also worried. Was he hiding from the world? When we talked through it, she realized he was most likely to build forts after preschool or family gatherings, times when he'd been overstimulated. He wasn't hiding, he was regulating. He was creating a small, controlled, predictable space where he could decompress. The forts were his self-care strategy. Once she understood this, she designated one couch as fort headquarters and gave him fort-building supplies. His emotional regulation actually improved. The mistake is constantly disassembling their enclosures because you need the couch cushions or blankets. Instead, create semi-permanent enclosed spaces, a play tent, a large box they can decorate, even a designated fort day where they can use furniture. Say, I see you need a cozy space. Let's create one that can stay up. When you honor this need, they're less likely to dismantle your entire living room. Try this. Give your child a large cardboard box. Let them decorate it, cut windows, add blankets inside. This becomes their space. When they're overwhelmed, stressed, or overstimulated, suggest, do you want some time in your cozy box? You're teaching them to recognize their need for space and giving them a tool to regulate. The seventh secret language is the connector. This is the child who brings you toy food to eat, feeds their stuffed animals, puts baby dolls to bed, or brushes their teddy bear's teeth. They're imitating caregiving behaviors, and it's absolutely precious, but it's also so much more. When your toddler engages in nurturing play, they're developing empathy, practicing caregiving skills, and processing their own experiences. Think about how much of their day involves being cared for, fed, changed, bathed, put to bed. When they reverse those roles and care for a doll or stuffed animal, they're integrating those experiences. They're also practicing perspective taking. My baby is hungry. What does hungry feel like? What do I need when I'm hungry? This is the foundation of emotional intelligence. Plus, they're rehearsing for future relationships, friendships, siblings, eventually their own children. A dad noticed his daughter would aggressively shove a bottle into her doll's mouth during pretend play, sometimes saying, "Just drink it," in a frustrated tone. He was concerned she was being too rough, but when he really listened, he realized she was imitating his rushed bedtime bottle routine when he was stressed. She wasn't being aggressive, she was processing her experience of feeling rushed. It was a powerful mirror. He slowed down his bedtime routine, and within days, her doll play became gentler. She was working through her feelings through play. Parents sometimes correct the play. No, babies don't eat that. Or, that's not how you put a baby to bed. But pretend play doesn't need to be realistic. It needs to be expressive. Instead, follow their lead. If they're feeding their stuffed elephant pizza, say, your elephant loves pizza. Is it hungry? You're validating their nurturing instincts instead of crushing their imagination with rules. Today, give your child dolls, stuffed animals, or even action figures and some basic care items. A blanket, a toy bottle, a brush. Then watch. What you see will tell you so much about how they experience being cared for. If they're gentle, they feel gently cared for. If they're rushed or harsh, that might be feedback about your family's stress levels.
The eighth and final secret language is the storyteller. This is the child who creates elaborate scenarios with toys, acts out scenes repeatedly, or narrates everything they're doing. Some of these stories are cheerful, but sometimes they're dark, violent, or concerning, and that's actually when they're most important. When your toddler creates narratives through play, they're processing emotions, memories, and experiences they don't have words for yet. Play is how young children make sense of confusing or overwhelming events. Did they go to the doctor and get a shot? They'll give their teddy bear a shot, over and over, until the fear loses its power. Did their parents have a fight? They'll crash toy cars together. This isn't concerning, it's healthy coping. They're taking scary, out-of-control experiences and replaying them in a context where they are in control. That's incredibly therapeutic. A mom came to me worried because her son kept crashing ambulances and putting dinosaurs in the hospital after his baby sister spent time in the NICU. The play seemed morbid, but what he was actually doing was processing trauma he couldn't verbalize. He was too young to understand why his sister was gone, why his parents were stressed, why everything felt scary. So he played it out. She started sitting near him during this play, occasionally offering gentle narration without interfering, like, "The mama dinosaur is worried. She wishes she could help. The baby is strong." Within a few weeks, the hospital play decreased. He'd worked through it. The biggest mistake is stopping play that makes us uncomfortable. Let's not play hospitals, that's sad. But uncomfortable play is often the most important. Instead, sit nearby and occasionally offer gentle narration without interfering, like, "The mama dinosaur is worried. She wishes she could help. The baby is strong." You're helping them build a narrative around their feelings without taking over their process. When your child engages in repetitive or dark storytelling play, resist the urge to redirect to happy play. Instead, provide props that support their processing. Toy medical kits after doctor visits, toy phones after separations, vehicles after car trips. They'll use these tools to work through whatever they need to work through.
Now that we've gone through all 8 secret play languages, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. You might have noticed a common theme running through everything we've discussed. Play is never random, it's always purposeful. Whether your child is repeating, dumping, organizing, transporting, destroying, enclosing, connecting, or storytelling, they're always communicating something and building crucial skills. Here's how these all work together. Your child might be a repeater in the morning when they're fresh and focused, a destroyer when they're feeling powerful and energetic after lunch, and an encloser in the evening when they need to decompress. These aren't personality types. They're languages your child speaks fluently depending on what they need in that moment. And here's the beautiful part. When you start speaking these languages back, when you protect repetitive play instead of interrupting it, when you provide appropriate dumping zones, when you build towers for them to destroy, your child feels seen and understood. That feeling of being understood is the foundation of secure attachment and emotional well-being. What this means for you practically is stop judging your child's play by adult standards of productive or creative or appropriate. Start asking, what is my child communicating right now? What need are they meeting? What skill are they building? Now, I want to be real with you for a moment. This is hard. You're tired. Your house is a mess. You just want them to play quietly while you make dinner. And I get it. You don't have to analyze every single moment of play. But when you can, when you have the bandwidth to sit for 10 minutes and just observe, you'll be amazed at what you see. Your child will show you exactly what they need. You just have to learn to read the signs, and that's okay. This is a journey, not a destination. Some days you'll be the present, observant parent who honors their play languages. Other days you'll say, just play with your toys and let me drink my coffee in peace. Both are valid. You're human. So you might be thinking, okay, this all makes sense, but where do I actually start? I'm going to give you a simple action plan you can implement starting today. Step 1, observe without interfering. This week,
For the next week, spend just 10 minutes a day sitting near your child while they play and just watch. Don't teach, don't redirect, don't fix. Just observe and take mental notes. Which of these 8 languages does your child speak most fluently? What patterns do you notice? When do they shift from one language to another? This awareness is the foundation for everything else. Step 2, set up play invitations. Next week, based on what you observed, create simple play invitations that support their primary play languages. If they're a dumper, create a dedicated dump bin. If they're an organizer, offer sorting trays with interesting items. If they're a transporter, provide bags and containers. You're not forcing anything, you're removing barriers to their natural play drives. Step 3, practice narration, not direction. When you're with your child during play, practice narrating what you see instead of directing what they should do. Instead of build a tower like this, say, you're stacking the blocks carefully. I wonder how high it will go. Instead of don't dump that, say, you're exploring how things fall. Let me get you something better for dumping. You're becoming their play partner, not their play director. Week 1 goals. For this first week, just focus on observation and acceptance. Don't try to change anything about how your child plays. Just watch, learn their languages, and resist the urge to interrupt or redirect. Small shifts in your behavior will naturally shift your child's experience. What to expect? In the beginning, you might feel bored or impatient watching repetitive play. That's normal. Your adult brain craves novelty, but give it time. Within about 2 weeks of really tuning into your child's play, you'll start seeing things you never noticed before. You'll catch yourself thinking, oh, that's why they keep doing that. And that awareness will transform your entire relationship with play. Troubleshooting. If you find that your child only engages in destructive play and it's stressing you out, create very clear boundaries. You can destroy this newspaper, these blocks, this Play-Doh, but not books, not furniture, not walls. Be consistent. If you find that your child seems stuck in one play language and never shifts, that might be worth mentioning to your pediatrician, but for most kids, focused interests are completely normal and healthy. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 8 play languages does your child speak most fluently? Are you living with a repeater, a destroyer, a combination? Drop a comment below and tell me what you've noticed about your child's play. I read every single comment, and your observations often help other parents recognize patterns in their own children. And if you're watching this because you've been frustrated by your child's play, the repetition, the mess, the seeming pointlessness of it all, I want you to know you're not alone. Play can be exhausting for adults, but you're here, learning to understand it better. That matters. Also, if your child does something during play that didn't fit into these 8 categories, share it. There are so many play languages, and we're all learning together.
Before we wrap up, I want to share one bonus tip that takes this to the next level. Create a play journal. Just once a week, spend 5 minutes writing down what your child played with most, which play language they used, any new skills you noticed, any concerns that came up. Here's why this is powerful. Over time, you'll see patterns. You'll notice that your child becomes a destroyer right before developmental leaps, or that they need enclosure play after stressful events. You'll see their play evolve as they grow. And if you ever need to talk to a pediatrician or therapist about concerns, you'll have concrete observations, not just vague worries. Plus, this journal becomes a beautiful record of your child's development. Years from now, you'll look back and remember, oh, right, that was their car lining phase. Or that's when they were obsessed with moving buckets of water. Give this a try. You might be surprised how valuable it becomes. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It helps more parents discover this content and learn to decode their children's play. And if you're not already subscribed to Parenthood Unlocked, click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Next week, I'm going to be talking about the secret emotional needs behind toddler tantrums, which connects directly to what we discussed today. Because just like play, tantrums are a language most parents never learn to speak.
Thank you so much for being part of this community. Remember, you're doing an amazing job. Even when you don't understand the play, even when you're stepping on toys in the dark, even when you just want them to play independently for 5 whole minutes. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep unlocking the best version of parenthood for your family.